Jamaica is a living soul. What happens when that soul is honored? When the people align? When the frequency matches? This is where the power comes in, the transformation, the divine purpose. This is where everything that seems impossible becomes possible, where the struggling stops and the thriving begins, where the chaos ends and the divine order manifests. But it requires something most people aren't willing to give: complete surrender to the consciousness of the land, complete trust in the wisdom of Jamaica's soul, complete alignment with the frequency it carries. Are you ready to go there? The ancestors understood something this generation forgot. They knew there was a covenant, a sacred agreement, a spiritual contract between the people and the land. The Taino people knew. They didn't just live on Jamaica. They lived with Jamaica as partners, as one unified consciousness. They asked permission before taking from the land. They gave offerings in gratitude. They listened to what the land told them: where to plant, where to harvest, how to move, where to build. And in return, the land provided, the land protected, it sustained. The relationship was reciprocal, balanced, sacred. They didn't see themselves as owners. They saw themselves as stewards, caretakers of something holy that was entrusted to them. The Maroons knew. When enslaved Africans escaped to the mountains, they didn't just hide. They entered into partnership with the land. They understood the mountains were alive, conscious, protective of those who honored them. And the mountains responded. They provided hiding places the British could never find. They created paths that led to safety. They confused and disoriented anyone who came with ill intent. The Maroons didn't conquer the land. They aligned with it. And that alignment made them undefeatable. Nanny of the Maroons wasn't just a military strategist. She was a spiritual mystic who understood how to move with the consciousness of the land, how to call on its power, how to operate in unity with Jamaica's soul. And because of that alignment, she couldn't be broken, couldn't be conquered, couldn't be stopped. That's what happens when people align with the soul of the land. They access power that transcends the physical, protection that transcends human capability, provision that transcends natural limitation. But the covenant was broken. Colonization didn't just take the land. It severed the relationship. It broke the covenant. It taught people to see land as property instead of partner. And when the covenant broke, the people lost. They lost protection. They lost the provision. They lost the power. And they've been struggling ever since, trying to survive on sacred ground they no longer know how to honor. But hear this: the covenant can be restored, the relationship can be healed, and the alignment can be reestablished. Jamaica's soul is waiting for its people to remember, to return, to honor the sacred contract that was always meant to exist. So what happens when people actually align with Jamaica's soul? When they honor the covenant? When they rise to meet the land's frequency? When alignment is restored, protection comes. Not just physical protection, spiritual protection, divine covering, the kind of protection that can't be explained by logic or reason. The ancestors experienced this. When they moved in alignment with the land, they were shielded. They were protected from forces that should have destroyed them. And that same protection is available now. But it only activates when the people align. When there's unity with the land's soul, there's a covering that comes. A divine shield, a spiritual fortification that makes what's sacred untouchable. When alignment is restored, provision flows. When people honor the land responds. It provides, it gives. It opens up resources that were hidden, opportunities that were closed. pathways that were blocked. This is how the universe works. What is honored is favored. What is respected is rewarded. What is cherished is multiplied. The land will feed those who honor it. It will sustain those who respect it. It will favor those who treat it as sacred. But those who violate it, who exploit it, who dishonor it, they will struggle. They will lack. They will suffer because they're out of alignment with the very source of their sustenance. When alignment is restored, power awakens. This is the big one. When people align with Jamaica's soul, they tap into power that's been dormant. Ancient power, spiritual power, creative power. The power to heal, the power to build, to create, to manifest, to transform. The power to break generational curses, to shift collective consciousness, and to birth new realities. This power has always been there, in the land, in the water, in the air, but it's only accessible to those who are aligned. Low frequency people can't access high frequency power. But when people rise, when they elevate their consciousness to match the land's frequency, the power activates. And suddenly, what seemed impossible becomes possible. What seemed broken becomes healed. What seemed hopeless becomes transformed. When alignment is restored, clarity comes. When people align with Jamaica's soul, they receive guidance, they receive direction, they receive knowing. The land speaks, and those who are aligned can hear. They know where to go. They know what to build, how to move, who to trust, what to avoid, what to create. This is divine intelligence. It's cosmic wisdom flowing through the land to those who are receptive. Had this. They moved with certainty, even in uncertainty. They moved with clarity, even in chaos, because they were connected to the consciousness of the land. And that same guidance is available now, but only to those who are listening. When alignment is restored, unity manifests. Here's something profound. When people align with Jamaica's soul, they automatically align with each other because they're all connected to the same source, the same consciousness, the same divine frequency. The division stops, the competition ends, the fighting ceases because everyone who's aligned recognizes they're part of the same whole. This is how communities thrive, not through forced cooperation, through natural unity that comes from being connected to the same sacred source. Now let's talk about why. Why does Jamaica exist? What is its cosmic purpose? What is this land meant to birth? Jamaica exists because Jamaica is a frequency anchor. In the spiritual realm, certain places on earth hold specific frequencies. They're anchors, stabilizers, points of high vibration that help balance the planet's consciousness. Jamaica is one of these places. It holds a frequency of love. It holds a frequency of creativity, of joy, of resistance against oppression, of freedom. That's why Jamaican culture is so powerful. That's why the music moves people's souls. Why the spirit of the people, even in struggle, cannot be broken. That's why the energy of Jamaica is recognized globally. It's not random. It's divine assignment. Jamaica exists to hold a frequency that the world needs, to be a beacon of certain energies that balance and elevate consciousness globally. Jamaica is meant to birth freedom. Not just political freedom, not just physical freedom, spiritual freedom, soul freedom, consciousness freedom, freedom from mental slavery, from colonial programming, from low frequency limitation, from every form of bondage. This is why the Maroons' resistance was so significant. Why Bob Marley's message spread worldwide. This is why Jamaican culture represents liberation wherever it goes. Jamaica's soul carries the frequency of freedom. And it's meant to transmit that frequency to the world. But it can't fully manifest that purpose while its own people remain enslaved, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. The people have to free themselves first. Then they become vessels through which Jamaica's frequency of freedom flows to others. Jamaica is meant to demonstrate unity. Out of many, one people. This isn't just a motto. It's a prophecy, a divine blueprint. Jamaica was always meant to show the world what's possible when diverse people come together, when division is transcended, when unity is chosen. African descendants, indigenous lineage, Asian heritage, European influence, Indian roots, Chinese ancestry, Middle Eastern connections, all of it coming together on one small island. This is not accident. This is divine design. Jamaica is meant to be a model, a demonstration of what humanity can become when people rise above division and embrace their oneness. But right now, that's not manifesting because the people are divided, fighting, competing, operating from separation consciousness. The land is waiting for its people to embody the unity it was designed to demonstrate. Jamaica exists because Jamaica is a portal. This is going to sound mystical, but here's the truth. Jamaica is a spiritual portal, a gateway between realms. It's a place where the veil between physical and spiritual is thin. That's why spiritual activity is so high on the land. Why people have visions, why dreams are vivid, why intuition is strong, why creativity flows. The land itself is a bridge between dimensions. And those who are aligned can access spiritual realms, receive divine downloads, connect with ancestors, and tap into cosmic wisdom. But portals work both ways. High frequency can come through. So can low frequency if people aren't protected by consciousness alignment. That's why it's so critical for people to rise, to operate from high frequency, to align with the land's soul. Because what manifests through the portal is determined by the consciousness of the people on the land. Right now, in this moment, Jamaica's soul is transmitting a message. It's a divine call to its people, to those who have ears to hear. Remember who you are. Remember you're not just humans walking on dirt. You're spiritual beings living with a spiritual being. You're children of the ancestors who knew how to honor sacred ground. Remember you carry ancient power, divine potential, cosmic purpose. Remember you're meant to be free, not just physically, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally, completely free. Rise to meet me is the calling of Jamaica. The land is calling its people to elevate, to purify, to transform, to become worthy of the sacred ground they walk on, not through shame, but through love, through recognition of what's possible when alignment happens. Rise in consciousness, in frequency, in awareness, in integrity, in love. Meet Jamaica where it is, because it will not descend. It cannot descend. Its frequency is fixed, ancient, divine. The people must rise. You have to honor the covenant. Restore the sacred relationship. Treat the land as partner, not property. Ask before taking. Give in gratitude. Listen to when it speaks. Move in alignment. Honor means respect, means reverence. It means treating as sacred what is sacred. The covenant wasn't just for ancestors. It's for now, for this generation, for those willing to remember and restore. Birth what I meant to birth through you is the calling of Jamaica. Jamaica's divine purpose can only manifest through the people. The land provides the frequency, the people provide the vessel. Freedom must be birthed through free people. Unity must be demonstrated through unified people. Love must flow through loving people. The land is ready. The frequency, it's active. The power is available, but it needs vessels, aligned, awakened, elevated vessels through which the divine purpose can manifest. Will the people answer the call? Will they become what Jamaica needs them to become? Will they rise to fulfill the destiny that's waiting? Jamaica is a living soul, ancient, powerful, divine. And it's calling its people to remember, to rise, to align, to honor, to become. When that happens, when the people finally answer the call, everything changes. The protection activates, the provision flows, the power awakens, the purpose manifests. Not gradually, suddenly, because alignment with the divine creates quantum shifts, instant transformation, miraculous change. This is cosmic law. This is how the universe works. What aligns with the divine becomes favored. What honors the sacred becomes powerful. Jamaica's soul is waiting. The covenant is ready to be restored. The purpose is ready to be birthed. The only question is, will the people answer? The land is speaking. Are you listening?